In today's episode, the history of the gold embroidery craft. Mira Nurkanova and her products made in Luneville embroidery technique. How did wicker baskets from the decor element turn into exquisite bags? Today we will go to a unique workshop where various products are decorated with gold and silver threads. The history of the gold embroidery craft dates back to the Middle Ages, and the countries of the East are considered its homeland. Clothes, headgears, household items, shoes were sewn with gold. Such products, as a rule, were personalized, inlaid with natural precious and semi-precious stones, and unique, in the true sense of the word. The craftsmen carefully guard the secrets of gold sewing, but they still told our film crew a lot of interesting things.
Более 30 лет посвятила вот этому необыкновенному.
I have dedicated more than 30 years to this extraordinary, unique, special type of art. Gold embroidery, one might say, is the queen of applied art. There are many types of embroidery, but this type can be called elite. Craftsmen and Kazakh people gave this art some divine property. And after all, this is a whole world and philosophy.
Это целый мир, это целая философия. Сейчас мы отправимся.
Now we will go to the workshop, where we can see how it's made.
Увидеть, как все это делается. Изначально на первом этапе натягиваются большие прямоугольные пяльцы.
Initially, at the first stage, cotton or coarse calico fabric is pulled over a large rectangular hoop.
Для будущей детали.
It serves as the basis for future costume details. Of course, for gold sewing, we try to select natural, expensive fabrics.
В нашем случае использован французский панбар.
In our case, a French pandoon was used. It's on a chiffon basis and has such a noble pile covering.
Благородную ворсовую основу. После того, как натянуты пяльцы,
After the hoop is pulled, the part is cut out and ready for work. The pattern is applied directly. The template cut from paper acts as a basis. The paper is attached to the base of the fabric, and then the embroidery process begins. Embroidery is made with gold threads made of a very thin gold and silver wire. Due to fragility, it's difficult to embroider. Therefore, the thread is placed on the front side of the fabric in the pattern and attached with silk threads, either in the color of the metal or vice versa, in contrast.
Мастерица должна в первую очередь любить.
A craftswoman must first of all love her work, and only then, step by step, stitch by stitch, this art obeys the craftswoman, and such a magnificent pattern appears.
И появляется вот такой великолепный узор.
It takes a long time to practice the skill of gold embroidery. Sometimes it takes several years for the master to achieve an impeccable performance of work.
После того, как техническая.
After the technical part is completed, of course, there is a choice of ornament. Each ornament has its own meaning, its purpose.
Свое предназначение. Самый ответственный момент вырезания орнамента.
The most crucial moment is the carving of the ornament, since in the future it will dictate the motif itself.
Если орнамент будет неправильно вырезан, тогда уже
If the ornament is cut incorrectly, then the pattern may be distorted. Therefore, cutting the ornament is one of the main and very important moments.
После того, как орнамент вырезан, наносится рисунок.
After the ornament is cut out, the drawing is applied to the canvas of the future part and carefully glued to the part of the future clothing. For gold embroidery, strong fabrics that can withstand thousands of needle punctures, such as velvet, silk, cloth, and leather, are used. Velvet of different colors is especially good, which sets off complex and incredibly beautiful patterns embroidered with gold thread. Products are traditionally made by hand using the restored sewing technologies of Asian Kazakh masters, which makes each product unique, giving it even more beauty, richness, and grace. At the next stage, after the ornament is glued, there is a selection of threads.
Нитки подбираются в зависимости от того, какому...
Threads are selected according to the shade we want to get. When we use a yellow golden thread, the pattern itself is picked up with more restrained tones. The threads are selected depending on what shade of the pattern we want to get. Often, of course, when we use yellow golden thread, we select more restrained tones for the pattern itself.
Здесь использована позолоченная канитель.
Gilded thread is used here. The thread is the gilded thin loop, which we call zir, and the technique itself is called ziрлеу, that is embroidery with a gilded thread.
Сама техника называется зерлеу, то есть вышивание позолоченной канителью. На этих пяльцах, непосредственно на этом полотне,
On this embroidery hoops directly on this canvas, we see two different techniques, embroidery with gold and embroidery with a voluminous metal gilded thread, which gives a special appearance to this product.
особенный вид этому изделию.
Sewing techniques are varied. Most often, it's a stitched seam, soft and comfortable, also a characteristic cast seam, wavy seam, satin stitch through, flat sewing. The technique of embroidery with the thread differs from other types of embroidery. The gold thread is not pulled through the fabric, but is attached with a seam and attached over the base with a second thread, while the auxiliary thread must remain invisible. With the help of a gimp, they make long stitches or sharp corners on the pattern. Due to the variety of seams on the canvas, curled ornaments, motifs, and elegant forms are obtained.
Один из видов уникального вида золотого шитья называется вышивка.
Here's one of the types of unique sewing. It's called couching stitch. It was forgotten, but by great efforts, it was restored thanks to research and hard work.
И кропотливым трудом был восстановлен этот вид золотого шитья.
Its uniqueness is that this tape was used from ancient times on products and now it cannot be found. We attach this braid thread by thread, creating a unique pattern of this braid.
На этих изделиях, и сейчас ее невозможно.
We embroider it by hand, which gives the significance of this product.
Создавая уникальный рисунок этой тесьмы, ее вышиваем вручную. После того, как вышивка заканчивается, изделие с изнаночной стороны.
After the embroidery is finished on the back side, all the threads with which the embroidery was made must be carefully glued. Glue is applied so that the fabric does not shrink and so that the drawing does not lose its beautiful appearance.
И рисунок не потерял свой вот этот красивый вид. После этого детали снимаются.
After that, the parts are removed from the frame, sent to the cutout workshop, where the cutter shapes it, cuts out this canvas in the desired form of the part, and the product is sent to the sewing workshop, where the tailor connects all the parts, and the item turns into a finished product.
Мастер швея соединяет все детали и превращается в готовое изделие.
Exquisite sewing, textured patterns, the beauty of the construction of ornamental compositions, and ceremonial dresses are bright masterpieces created by the hands of talented craftswomen. The national heritage of gold embroidery art was revived after centuries, thanks to the love and diligence of a wonderful expert. And the desire to preserve and not consign to oblivion such an elite art evokes an aching feeling of delight and respect. For several consecutive seasons, one of the main trends in interior fashion are considered products made of raffia, straw, and other natural materials. Wicker baskets become not only refine and unique elements of decor, but they also increasingly embedded in our everyday lives. Taking as a basis a picnic basket, designers turned it into a fashionable bag, which is rapidly gaining popularity. So, who is she? A modern woman who prefers weaker products?
Я так думаю, что это женщина, которая
I think this woman who loves herself, loves the world around her, and wants to be surrounded by functional, necessary, useful things, original, exclusive things that no one else has.
эксклюзивные, да, которых ни у кого нету.
Such products, painstakingly made by hand, are more works of art than ordinary accessories. Because it's handmade, and each product is created separately. That is, they can be as similar to each other as possible, but not an exact copy. Miniature and bulky, but at the same time comfortable and beautiful, the weaker work of the heroine always attracts attention and is especially in demand among fashionistas in the capital of Kazakhstan. They look very interesting and fresh, thanks to the unusual shapes and original accents.
Вообще элементов декора существует огромное множество. То есть можно сделать, например,
In general, there are a lot of decor elements. For example, you can make decoupage, apply some kind of printed drawing to the basket. You can make patina, you get the aging effect.
Можно дополнить какими-то кожаными.
You can add some leather elements. You can make cotton cases. I really like it. You can make some removable elements, for example, flowers. To wash the basket, you can remove this item, then put it on again.
И потом обратно повесить. Я работаю с бумажной лозой.
I work with paper rope. The advantages are that paper is an affordable material. They used to weave from osier. It needs to be grown somewhere, then collected, cleaned, and stored in special conditions, so as not to dry.
Нужно очищать и хранить ее в определенных условиях, чтобы она не засохла. Потом получить каких-то...
It's very difficult to achieve some different colors. They have their own specific color. And in order to split some product, you need a lot of this osier.
Для того, чтобы сплести какое-то изделие, то есть нужно очень много этой лозы, а вот именно бумажная лоза в чем преимущество?
And here is the paper rope. What are its advantage? Paper can now be bought anywhere. I usually use newspaper. It's very comfortable, thin. Twist to the tubes as much as necessary and you can start weaving. And it doesn't require much space.
И тут же можно сплести, то есть хранить много места не нужно.
The technique of weaving from newspaper tubes is not much different from weaving from a real vine. Perhaps in terms of strength, such products are inferior to ordinary wicker baskets, but if you properly process the newspaper vine and find the appropriate application for such products, they will last a long time.
В первую очередь бумагу нужно нарезать на полоски. Затем
First of all, the paper must be cut into strips, then twisted onto a thin pin, then painted with the necessary color.
для окрашивания использую колеры различных цветов, если нужно получить какое-то яркое изделие, либо морилки цвета натуральных цветов дерева, если нужно получить это, например, лиственницы.
For coloring, I use colors of different shades if you need to get bright products, or Morilica if you need to get the color of natural wood. For example, larch, oak, maple, and others.
После этого можно сплести уже изделие. Когда изделие сплетено, я его обрабатываю. Я использую грунтовку глубокого проникновения. Она защищает корзины от плесени, грибков.
After painting, the tubes must be treated with a special varnish so that they become soft and elastic.
Это уже покрытие лаком в 2 слоя обязательно, чтобы корзины были прочные и служили долго.
The peoples of Central Asia were engaged in weaving baskets in ancient times. The baskets were designed for various needs: storing food, carrying them home from the bazaar, packing gifts, and giving them along with the basket. But like thousands of years ago, today man weaves products according to the same principles, using the same techniques. Weaving developed primarily in areas where there were rivers and lakes, since it was there that a lot of natural material could be found.
А популярность плетения именно из бумажной лозы пришло в тот момент, когда уже...
And the popularity of weaving from paper rope came at a time when paper and newspapers became accessible and inexpensive materials. Eastern masters, mainly Korea and China, started to use paper instead of wine. Their people are famous for various works of creating paper products, starting from papier-mâché and origami.
Как говорится, все новое — это хорошо забытое старое.
As they say, everything new is well forgotten old. And now the baskets are back in our daily life. The only difference is that they become more functional, and they can be made of any shape and size, of any color. For example, I had a customer, she ordered a kitchen cabinet, and there were such narrow shelves that she could not find baskets for a very long time to put them there. She was very happy when she found me.
Она очень обрадовалась, когда она меня нашла,
because paper rope allows you to make baskets of any shape and size. We made her 6 baskets. They were so long but narrow, and she was very pleased.
И вот она очень довольна осталась.
Gulmira is always careful and attentive to the lifestyle demands and tastes of her customers. She creates beauty around her and inspires others to love beautiful things. But the main thing is that Gulmira not only knows how to skillfully embody the ideas of other people, but she herself is not afraid to dream.
Мне очень хочется попробовать.
I really want to try to weave furniture. I saw weaved shelves, bedstands, bedside tables. I'd love to try it.
Мне очень хочется попробовать. Хотела бы какую-то мастерскую свою открыть.
And in the future, I would like to open my workshop in which young mothers would come and create something with their own hands. Because I'm a mother on a maternity leave, and any mother needs a rest. And I would like for there to be such a workshop where mothers with their children could come, with a separate room where the nanny will be, where the children could play. And mother could do needlework and could create something.
А мама будет заниматься рукоделием.
In the world of jewelry, brands, and fashion collections, the originality and commitment of the master to his style have been valued at all times. And personal development, intelligence, and perseverance help the master to go his way and develop his own brand. The trademark of Mira Nurkanova are products made using the technique of Luneville embroidery.
Это вышивка крючком, нитками.
This embroidery is made with a hook, threads, and beads. Basically anything on a beautiful canvas on a frame. This embroidery can be transferred to clothes, such as a painting. It will be possible to design in the form of a brush or a necklace, whatever you want.
Для меня творчество именно вышивка и создание украшений.
For me, creativity, making jewelry, and embroidery are for the most part a way to get energy. In general, I'm a professional accountant. I have a small consulting company. Embroidery is like an outlet to me. It allows you to fill yourself with energy to further develop and grow. Each decoration is based on 3 key elements: shape, volume, and color. I stop when I reach the perfect balance of these elements, Mira says. The problem is I don't know how to draw, and usually I just write down my ideas. It happens that I just describe in detail how this brush or necklace should look like, and then I try to pick up the necessary materials and make it.
Как основу я беру или сетку, или шелковую органзу.
As a basis, I take either a net or a silk organza. If I'm embroidering with a Luneville hook, I prepare the necessary threads and transfer the sketch to the fabric using a pen or a not very thick ordinary mark pen. Then I do couching by means of a hook and I begin embroidery.
Нитки могут быть разные, и шелковые.
Threads can be different: silk, metallized, and viscose. Basically, everything depends on fantasy.
Затем, если это украшение будет в виде броши,
Then, if it's a brooch-like decoration, I cut the finished products from embroidery hoop or canvas and transfer to another material, for example, felt,
снова, чтобы изделие уже держало форму.
to keep the product's shape. If this is a brush, we add attachments in the form of a pin on the bottom. If it's too large, then you can add 2 pins.
В принципе, изделие готово. Все зависит от
Well, the product is ready. It all depends on what fabric you use. It will be faster if you use a hook.
Бывает такое, что
Sometimes it happens that I don't like the jewelry. I can just easily take it into pieces and start all over. But this has rarely happened. I really love my jewelry.
свои украшения мне не нравится.
Mira is equally convinced of the uniqueness of her creations and of any woman who wears them. In her works, one can feel the exceptional taste, oriental flavor, and passion for color. It's enough to look at one piece and you cannot tear yourself away from it and completely immerse yourself in the magical world of jewelry miniatures.
Мне по душе
I like minimalism. I love very compact decorations that can be worn daily. But in terms of earrings, bracelets, they shouldn't be too bulky, so that they can be worn on any kind of occasion.
чтобы их можно было одеть, скажем так, и в пир, и в мир. Актуальны сейчас.
Jewelry made of metal and pearls is relevant now. Baroque pearls, river pearls, any form of pearls, majorica with large metal chains of gold and silver. Now I think it's a trend.
Металлическими цепями, там, золото, серебро. Сейчас это кажется в тренде.
Jewelry must be addressed directly to the soul, and to do so, it must carry something very personal. Do not follow the fashion, just trust the sensations, says the master.
Мода это такое дело, за которым, в принципе, не угонишься.
Fashion is such a thing that actually you will not follow it constantly. If you really want to create, be in trend, follow fashion, then yes, you need to keep up with the style that is dictated by our universe, the world. And if you follow what your heart wants, then you just need to create what you like. I believe that any decoration will always have its owner.
На любое украшение всегда найдется своя хозяйка.
Mira is one of the few who are not worried about the symbolism of stones, and she's not looking for mysticism in minerals. Although the stones dictate the design, therefore some are stored for months in order to get into the exact product that will emphasize its beauty.
Я выбираю тот камень, который мне ближе.
I choose that stone that is closer to me. I just look at it and say, oh, this one is beautiful. I want this one. I want to make decoration out of this stone. I love lazurite strawberry quartz. I love aquamarine very much. I love spectralite very much. These are such stones that are both bright and interesting. I really like to make brushes from natural stones, right from the cabochons of large ones. Sometimes there are heavy brushes. They are not good for a light silk dress. But if you try very hard, you can make a compact decoration using sequin beads and stone crumbs.
Скажем так, каменной крошки.
Jewelry is a story. When choosing it, it's important to understand what it means to you. Whether you believe in the power of stone or not, still try to choose natural materials, Mira says.
Я думаю, что натуральные камни, украшения.
I think that jewelry made with natural stones will remain in trend, because natural stone absorbs the energy of a person, the one who wears it. And it's nice to wear natural stones and know that they are yours. To know that this jewelry will store your energy and your message. I really hope that my jewelry will be inherited, because there are good stones, good fittings. And I really hope that my customers will pass them on to their daughters and so on. I really hope so.
Украшения будут передаваться по наследству.